What's good, JT fam? We're back again with another
banger. What's good, you guys? We're back with another sit down. Back with another queer
survival guide video for you guys. Another video to add to the collection. So for today's video, we are going to be doing the first part of a coming out series, okay?
Yeah.
This one's going to be coming out to your family. We might do a separate video that's coming out to friends, but maybe not. We'll see. And I think before we do that though, we should do a quick little recap of how our coming out stories were. I'm gonna link in the description, and also it's right up here. Ding! We did do a coming out video. It was probably like one of the second or third videos we've ever filmed.
So
it's a little bit rough.
Today. Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
But if you want the full story, you can go back to that video and you can see the whole story about how we both.
Because we're gonna do both in a 1 minute rundown right now.
So you go first.
Okay, so my coming out was not like that great. My parents did not accept it. They wanted me to never bring it up, never talk about it. It took them like 5 years almost to like come to terms with it. And they really only came to terms with it fully with her. My parents were having issues with me coming out as gay up until like honestly like maybe like a year or two ago. They were still having problems with it. So it took them forever, and it was very painful and terrible.
Okay, and then quick little Cole's notes of mine. I told my parents through a note. How did you tell your parents?
Email.
Email. So I told my parents through a note and gave it to my dad, and yeah, didn't go very well. Dad was on board, mom was absolutely not. Ended up not being able to be in the house for a couple of years, but they did still pay for my schooling. They cut me off in every other way, but because my dad was somewhat on board, he would basically like force my mom into still paying for my schooling, so that was decent. I was able to still get an education. And yeah, I mean, to this day, it was very negative at first. Now they're completely on board. I think the kids really helped, and also find like them seeing real true love with you also really helped. Yeah. To this day, my dad's side, don't know them, don't really care to know them. They've iced me out, but you know what? That's okay. They clearly weren't for me anyway. So not everyone's story is going to be perfect, and not everyone's going to accept them, but you got to move forward. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the first point. Yeah.
So it's considering your safety, and considering like your individual circumstance when it comes to coming out. Like you have to be aware of the fact that like, you know, do you think your parents are going to take it amazing? Do you think they're going to take it in the middle, or do you think it's going to be like worst case scenario?
Yeah.
You have to really think about it and try to tread lightly. Because if you know, for cultural reasons, religious reasons, or just your parents are kind of ignorant or like bigoted and they don't really understand, they can take it really poorly. And if, for example, you're still financially dependent on your parents, you have to think about your safety. Like, can you afford to be thrown out this second? Do you have someone that's gonna take you in? Do you have someone you can live with? Do you have the finances to like fulfill your life?
Yeah.
You know, can you eat? Can you pay your phone bill on your own? Can you do all these things? If you're a teenager going to high school and if you get kicked out, you have no idea what you're gonna do. If you think your parents might react really badly and disown you, do not come out, because it's just not the time. You have to protect yourself and take care of yourself. No matter how badly you wish you could just come out, like sometimes it's just not, it's not your time yet. And you need to make sure you have everything in place. You have a nest egg of money. You have things set up if you think that your parents are going to disown you. Even my parents, like they didn't like disown me, but they like cut me off basically like financially even more than they already like had before. And they really just like ex-nayed me out of a lot of things. So you know, it's one of those things you have to be mentally ready for it. Are you ready to lose your whole family for a while or forever? Yeah. Like, is that okay with you? Is it worth it? Do you have enough people in your corner to make you feel loved apart from your family? Like, think about all those things.
Facts.
You can't just, you have to really deeply think about it, because it's, once you do it, you can't take it back.
Facts. Are you being pressured to do it? I know a lot of times people feel pressured by their partner or whatever the situation might be. But when you come out, you need to make sure that you're coming out for you. You cannot be coming out for somebody else. If somebody's putting pressure on you to come out, don't be doing all of that, because you're not going to be ready for the consequence if it does go bad.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for yourself, it's because you've come to terms with those consequences and you're okay with them.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing it because you want to keep a partner, that's basically being like, if you don't come out, I'm done. You're going to be living a really sad reality, and it's going to hit you even harder if you come out and you weren't ready to come out for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important to just like honestly make sure that it's like it's for all the right reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Because,
and you feel ready to do it.
Because ultimately, if it's a relationship, like who knows? Like you don't really know for sure if that person, if you're gonna have that person at the end of it. So if you do it for them and not yourself, then you have no family. Maybe
you get kicked out, and then they leave you, and then you have no one. Like you're doing it because you want to stand on your own 2 feet and be out and proud.
Because you're ready. Because if you're not ready, you're gonna resent the person that you're with for making you do it. If your family all leaves you and your partner convinced you it was gonna be this beautiful thing that you needed to do, and then you just feel empty after, like you're just gonna resent your partner.
Exactly.
The next thing to consider is how you're like thinking about how you're gonna tell them, and thinking about how it makes sense to you and how it's comfortable for you. Like for some situations, telling them face to face could end in like potentially like a very like verbally abusive conversation, a violent incident, or you know, like, it could be unsafe. Again, going back to safety, like you have to think about it when you come out to your parents or your family or whoever, your grandparents, like whoever. You have to think about it, like is it too uncomfortable for you to say it face to face? Like are you too insecure and worried about how they're going to react? Like you don't always have to tell them face to face. Like there's so many other ways you can do it. You can text them, you can I sent an email. I sent a really long-winded email because I knew my parents weren't going to be on board with it. I didn't think they would be as negative as they were. I thought they would be shocked, but they would come around quickly, but they actually didn't. Like that was a surprise, so I got thrown totally off guard. But I'm glad that I did it over email, and I'm glad that like my gut instinct was right, because I knew for some reason I thought like, ooh, in person seems like I feel like they're gonna react bad, and they reacted so bad even to just like the email part because they just didn't see it coming, I guess. So you have to think about how your parents are going to take it. Do they need extra processing time on their own where you're not right in their face? Like some parents, they are going to be nasty at the beginning, and they need that processing time.
The next one's kind of piggybacking off of what she said. It's give them time to process. Not every time is their initial reaction going to be the reaction that they take through their life. For example, my family, they were like, we don't even want to associate with you. You're bringing shame to the family name. Get away from us. You're like demonic, essentially. And now it's gotten to a point where my mom is buying my son dresses. I would like to see it. Like her initial reaction was literally, I'm never gonna have a relationship with her. And now, fast forward, we're best friends, we're being best friends again, and she supports everything. She's woke, they're both woke, they're woke about queer issues, transgender issues, like they have made a full 180, okay? So I think oftentimes, more often than not, when you come out to someone, you're so worked up that you're like, their reaction has to be the best reaction or it's done. That's not necessarily the situation. And I think that if you do have a bad reaction, it's going to be really hard at the start, but just give it some time because it could always turn around. It's turned around for me, it's turned around for her. It can always just turn around. So I think giving the respect to them as well of having that processing time and just being respectful of the whole situation. It's a lot for them to take in as well. So you can't expect them to just be like rainbows and unicorns right off the hop.
Yeah, like when you hear something hard, like imagine your whole life you heard something was wrong and terrible, and then you know your own child who you had so many aspirations for comes and tells you that thing. Like that's typically like somewhat aligns with the situation you're dealing with. Like your parents in that moment, they're having so many emotions, like they're not gonna come correct and just be like, I love you no matter what. Like sure, there are people that have that experience.
There's lots of people.
Wow,
don't get us wrong.
I'm so happy for you. But like if they don't react like that, and if they're not happy off the bat, it's okay. Like honestly, and you have to come to peace with it too. And you also have to be ready for the fact that they might never come around. Like
half my family didn't.
Like you have to like be aware.
Okay.
You have to know that and be ready for that when you make the choice.
And I think that when you, like for example, for half my family, it's basically being like, why would I want them in my life anyways? If they're only gonna accept me if I'm straight, like I don't want them around anyways. That's just toxic energy. So like making peace with the fact that these people that don't want you in their life and consistently for the rest of your life will not, they're not woke and they never will be. So it's like get them out of your life because it's just gonna be toxic energy anyways.
It's like give them time, but know where to draw the line.
Yeah, like respect yourself. Like you need to put your foot down and be like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna part ways.
And that's what I did. I literally had to come to a point where I was like, you either have to jump on the bus, the train is moving, or get off.
Yeah.
And they got on. They realized, I think it just snapped in their brains, and they were just like, you know what are we really arguing about? Like, and ever since, they love her, they love the boys. It's beautiful, and I'm so happy. So so the next one we're gonna do,
it's a good last
one. It's a good last one, and it's really important, and like you guys have to take this, listen to it, is protecting your energy. So it piggybacks off the last one. It's all kind of like a train of like things you have to, the mental processes of this situation is just recognizing that, like, at the end of the day, no matter what, you're doing this for you. It's your life. It's your love. It's you, who you want to be, who you are as a person. And nothing that anyone thinks or says, as much as it will hurt, should influence how you choose to live your life. And it's like we said, you know, eventually you have to put your foot down and draw the line. If some people don't jump on board and don't love you no matter what, that just tells you a lot more about them. It doesn't mean anything about you. It just tells you, you know what, these people are unhealthy people to have in my life. And I need to choose the people around me that bring good energy and that love me no matter what. And sometimes people will not be okay with it. And you have to like know where that line is for you and not take the disrespect and just protect yourself, because nothing you're doing is wrong. You being yourself isn't wrong. You are amazing just the way you are, and you need to like keep that energy, because if you let someone make you believe that you are like less of a human, or you are like demonic, or like all these things, like that's just so negative to your like psyche, and it's so wrong. It's not true. So it's like, in order to live your life proudly and to be able to like be a good partner and like have a family and like have all these beautiful things that you want and just be yourself, like you shouldn't have to fake it your whole life to appease other people. And if they really love you, they're going to like culture everything else aside, like they're going to find love for you somewhere, even if they don't agree with it. They will come around if they're meant to, and you shouldn't tolerate disrespect for your whole life because of that. Like, I just feel very strongly about that. I just want everyone, like everyone in the gay community, to protect their energy and feel safe and feel like good about who they are, because I know so many of us get like tricked into feeling bad about ourselves, and it's just sad.
And we're not bad humans.
Absolutely, no.
Anyways, guys, on that note, you know what? If you have any other tricks or tips that you want to share down below in the comments, or even sharing your coming out stories to help
react to them,
each other out in the comments, talking about your coming out story and sharing that with the community.
Or if you want advice on how to come out, like leave down below. We respond to this stuff.
We respond to everybody. Every single comment we will respond to. So if you wanna leave anything down below, or you want us to respond to anything, we will absolutely do that.
Yeah, but thanks for vibing with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming through and being part of the fam. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
We love you guys. Bye.